Good boy, Tucker.
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome.
Work smarter where you want.
Consistency is key.
And remember, if it's not in Redtail, it never happened.
This is learning at its most fun. All right, welcome everybody to another Redtail overview demo. In this case, we are giving an overview of the new Redtail mobile app. That's right, the Redtail mobile app 3.0 is here, and we are going to walk you through it. We're going to show you all the stuff that you are able to do in this new version of the Redtail mobile app, and maybe even tease some of the stuff that you're going to be able to do in the future as well. Just to give a very brief walkthrough on what we're going to be talking about, obviously the majority of our focus is going to be on the app itself, including navigating around the app, working with activities, all the different ways you can do that in the app. Working with your contacts obviously is going to be extremely helpful. And then, of course, we got a few other things that we want to show you in there. So let's just dispense with the pleasantries and let's go into the mobile app. Now, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be accessing the mobile app on my Apple 11. The new Redtail mobile app is available for Apple and Android smart devices, and it has been optimized with some of the most consistent user feedback, from previous versions of the app to focus on calendar activity management, most importantly, as well as speed, ease of use, and other things. So let's get into the app itself. First and foremost, the app is responsive, as you see there, to Face ID, to fingerprint ID, and things like that. So make sure that you get into your settings of your phone and make sure that this does allow for Face ID and Finger ID. But logging in, once you log in the first time with the app, I always like to swipe out of it and close it, and then reopen it, and then that allows me to go in and use my Face ID. But the first page that you see when you are in the mobile app is the Today page. And the Today page, much like in the CRM, is designed to answer the question, what do I have going on today? It focuses on your schedule specifically for the day. And it shows you all of your existing activities. So it shows my schedule review, and it shows that it's an all-day event. It shows when I have events scheduled at 1 p.m. to 15 p.m., how long those events are scheduled for, and so on and so forth. Now, what's really cool about the Today page is that we can work with these existing activities in a number of different ways. First and foremost, we can swipe right or swipe left. Yeah, swipe left. And we can either mark this activity as complete right here, or we can edit that activity right from here just with a quick swipe. I can also tap on this activity to open it up and see just a little bit more details about this activity, such as who is listed as an attendee, what contacts might be attached to this particular activity, and what category this activity might have. If I want to collapse that, I can go ahead and just tap the title of that activity to expand or collapse those activities. You'll also notice that expanded activities give us the ability to either mark it as complete or edit the details of that activity. So I wanted to show that off really quickly. Obviously, I can go in and I can do whatever I want here. I can schedule this, I can reschedule it, I can change it from all day to an actual timed event. I can go in here and fill out as many of the details as possible, including priority, location, description, linking multiple contacts, linking multiple attendees, and then I can choose to mark this activity as saved, or I can save and complete the activity. I'll go ahead and I'll save and complete this activity, and that is going to move it off of our Today page. So that activity is no longer there on our Today page. That moves Calling Dwayne up to the top of our list. Now, we'll show you how to add an activity really quickly, but again, you can save any changes that you make. You can delete the activities if you need to. You can also add activities using the large add button down in this bottom right-hand corner here. So if I go ahead and I tap on that, one of the things that it's going to do is you'll notice that it's going to schedule it for today. So that kind of gives away a little bit of when this recording is actually set, but it initially starts as today as a timed activity. And I can go in and I can change those any way that I want. If I want to schedule this for next Tuesday at, let's say, 2 p.m., cool, I can go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and confirm that. And it will also adjust the end date and time as well. You saw the end date and time change right away. I'm going to say this is going to be a meeting with, let's say, Tony. We're going to meet with Tony. We're going to give it an activity type. We're going to call this one. I believe we have one. Let's see here. It's not a prospecting meeting. Let's just call it an appointment. We'll keep it as an appointment, and we will say that it is a client update. We can go ahead and give the importance, the priority, the location if we want to. We can also give our description. Tony is coming into the office. You know, we'll keep it simple. Make sure I spell Tony properly. There we go. Priority 3. And then I can add linked contacts. So I can actually look for contacts here. Like if I want to look for Tony Stark, I can go ahead and find Tony Stark here. There he is. And we'll add him to this activity. We can also add additional attendees. Like if I want Jack and let's say Haley to be a part of this activity as well, I can go ahead and add them. Boom. There it is. Now I can save that activity. Now that activity is going on my calendar next Tuesday. So again, adding an activity, we've streamlined it. We've made it easier. We've given you more functionality in the ability to add those activities. That's going to do it for the Today page. I'm going to come back here one last time at the very end to show off a neat little feature that we've added in here. But for the most part, the Today page is fairly straightforward. What do I have going on today? Now, obviously, sometimes we need to look beyond today, right? And so in order to do that, we're going to tap that icon in the top left-hand corner, and that's going to bring up our menu, and we're going to go to Calendar. Calendar gives you a wider look at what's going on in your business. First and foremost, you can scroll through your week views. Like if I want to scroll through my different weeks here, maybe I want to go and I want to look at February, maybe I want to look at the last week of January, I can scroll right up at the top just by tapping that week and scrolling with it. Now, if I want to expand to a month view, I can just tap that little icon right there, and I can expand to a full scroll month view to actually show what is going on here. All right. Now, if I want to go back to today, if I want to get back to today, I can always find the date if I want to. There it is. It's highlighted, February 18th. Or I can go down to the bottom left-hand corner here where you see today, and I can tap on that, and that's just going to take me back to the Today page. So again, you have the week view. You have the different views at your disposal here. I can scroll through the entire week and see what we have going on and can continue scrolling but beyond into the future. If I want to look into the past, just take a step back. Go back, let's say I want to look back at the 11th. Maybe I want to look back at the 4th. I can do that within that view right up there at the top. And I can jump into the past looking for items that might have existed in the past. So again, that month view, very easy to scroll through the months. And again, always to get back to today, we can always find the 18th, or we can hit today very quickly, very easily. The other thing this calendar view allows us to do is it allows us to choose which users' calendars we want to see. And this is something that is one of the most requested additions to the app. And I can do so just by clicking users in the bottom right. And right now I have everybody selected. I'm looking at everybody's calendar. And if I go back, you can actually see which items belong to which people. For example, cut check right there in the middle, that belongs to Jack. I know that that's not anything specific to me. That's Jack's activity. I see Steve, he's getting an in-office visit, and we have 3 linked attendees there. If we want to see those attendees, we're going to tap on that activity, and we're going to look at the details. This is the same page as editing or adding an activity. But if I scroll down, I can see that it's going to be Tucker, Jack, and Samantha all attending this particular in-office meeting. This is on all 3 of their calendars. All right. Now remember, activities from this page alone, from this page again, we can go in to call Dwayne, and we can edit this activity if we want to. We can make changes to it, or we can go down, save it, save and complete, or delete this activity right from here. And you'll notice how easy it is to just scroll through, make changes. I want to save, I want to update, whatever. And if I don't want to do anything, I can go ahead and click cancel, and that takes me back to the calendar. So again, the calendar is designed to give you a wider look of what's going on in your office, in your database, and then you can tap to go deeper. Now, activity management, obviously very, very important, and we've made it easier for you to be able to add activities, as you can see here, just by tapping that plus button. It gives us the opportunity to fully add that activity, which we showed you earlier. But contact, management is equally important. I'm mobile, I'm on the road, I need to be able to access contact information quickly and easily. And so if we tap that icon in the top left, we have the ability to access our contacts. Now, initially, this is going to give you an alphabetized list of your contacts to scroll through. So if I want to scroll through to my B's, if I want to scroll through to my C's, whatever, I can go ahead and I can scroll through those contacts right here alphabetically. But that could take a while. What if I want to get down to Tony Stark? I don't want to scroll all the way down to the S's, right? That would take me a lot of time. And so what I can do is I can search through my contacts. What I like about this is if I just type the first, let's say the last name or the first few letters of the last name, I can actually go in here and I can actually see what is happening. Happy Hogan has Stark in his email. That is why he's popping up here. But I also get Anthony Stark right here. The same is true as if I start typing the last name of, let's say, Taylor, right? All I got to do is type the last few names, or the 3 or 4 letters, and that's actually going to allow me to view those contacts right there. So I like that. I like the ability to, I don't have to type in a full last name. These are just short last names, fortunately. But I can type in a partial name and it will search for me. It also, from this page, gives us the ability to view our recent contacts as well, just by typing recent up in the top right-hand corner. By tapping that, it pulls up our recently viewed contacts. Now, this carries over from your Redtail CRM in your browser. Any contacts you view in your browser are going to be on the recent contact list, and likewise, any contacts you view on the new Redtail app will be added to your recent list on both the app and the browser. So keep that in mind when you're looking at recent contacts. That stuff carries over from how you work in your CRM, depending on if it's the mobile app, if it's the web browser CRM, it doesn't matter. The recent contacts list is going to be the same every time. And I can always click all to go back to my overall contact list. Now, you can also add a contact into the app as well, just by hitting that plus sign in the contacts page right here. This allows us to select a contact type. Remember, there are 5 contact types in Redtail: individual, business, union, trust, and association. So if I wanted to add an individual's information, I can do so right from this page, and I can fill out some of the initial contact details of that contact right from here. So for example, if I want to add Michael Eugene Lowry, and I want to say his nickname is Mike, and I can give him all types of information here. I can say he's a detective. I can say he's an active client. I can say he's a AAA client. I can say he was referred to, let's see, where's a referral? There it is. Referred by, and let's say he was referred by Marcus Burnett. Awesome. His servicing advisor. I can fill out, as you can see, I can fill out a lot of different information here. I don't have to fill all of this out. Really, the most important thing is the first and last name. If you have that, then you're fine. You fill out a first and last name. Maybe you get a business card. Maybe you meet somebody at lunch, whatever. Oh, hey, Mike Lowry. Okay, cool. I'm going to put your first and last name in here. And then everything else I can fill out later on. I can fill out tax ID, gender, date of birth, marital status. I can fill all that out later on. I can then save that contact information. And that's going to bring me directly to a contact record. Now, the last thing I'll mention about adding a contact is that we want to add those contact card details, right? And this is the page in which we can do it from. It takes us automatically to the contact record so that if I want to add a phone number, I can add a phone number in here. Let's say it's going to be his mobile number. And let's say it's going to be 555-111-2233. Cool. There it is. I want to add an email address as well. This is going to be his work email address. I'm going to also mark this as primary. That's another important thing to do, is to mark these as primary. And the reason I say that this is important is, actually, you'll see it. I'm setting it up here. But you want to make sure that in your CRM and in the app, regardless, you want to have at least one phone number marked as primary, at least one email address marked as primary, and at least one physical address marked as primary. Now, that's just important for contacting your people, but I'm going to show you why. And let's do mlowry at miami-dade-pd.gov. I hope that's not a real email address. I hope there's not a real Detective Mike Lowry working for Miami. But we can go ahead and add this and save the comment card. So let's save this contact card right here. And again, now we have information that we can utilize. Now, Mike is a brand new contact, so we're not going to use him to demo a contact card. Instead, I am going to use this back arrow up in my top left-hand corner, and I'm going to go to Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne has a ton of info that we're going to be able to look at and we're going to be able to see. But you'll also notice that Mike Lowry is now at the top of our recently viewed list. That's how that recently viewed list works. So let's go to Bruce's record and let's kind of give you a little bit of a tour of a contact record. Now, remember, contact details, just the Rolodex information, as I like to call it, it's important to have. And if you mark one phone number as primary, one email address as primary, one physical address as primary, those are available as tap to use icons at the very top. And these icons are viewable on every page of the contact record. No matter what page I'm on, I can tap this phone number to call them. I can tap their email address to app them. I can tap the map to map it out, even though there is no actual Wayne Manor. It's very sad. Okay, so that's why primary is so important. But even on the initial contact card page, you can tap any one of these items to utilize. So we have the icons up at the top. Cool. Those are the primary pieces of contact information. But you can use any one of these phone numbers, email addresses, or physical addresses to tap to call, tap to email, or tap to map out to that particular address, which I think is very, very valuable to an advisor on the go. And we can also edit those as well. Any one of these pages can be edited by going up to that top right-hand corner, by clicking edit, or by tapping edit, if you will, and actually changing this information as we want to, adding, removing, whatever we want to do, we can do so right here, and then we can always save that information as we need. Now, beyond the contact card, beyond the actual phone numbers, beyond the email addresses and things like that, we also have the contact details. And those are the CRM details that you use to fill out a client's profile. Those are your statuses, your categories, your servicing advisor, writing advisor, your dates of birth, your important dates like anniversaries, client sense dates, contact created dates are all here in the contact details. Tax IDs, you'll notice, are hidden. That's for security and compliance. But again, I can edit this information just by tapping that top right edit button. And that's going to allow me to go in and actually change any of these details as I see fit. It's going to let me go in and actually change the status. It's going to let me go in and actually change the category and things like that. So it'll let me edit the name, the contact details, the tax ID number, which is viewable from this page as well. And it'll let me remove dates as I need. So again, that contact details page is mostly used for quick reference, but it allows us to change things if we need to. Next on the contact record, we have the activities. These are going to show us any past due activities or any activities coming up within the next 30 days. Okay, you can add an activity just as we showed you before using the add button in the bottom right. Just by tapping that, it allows us to actually open up a new activity and it allows us to fill this out, and you'll notice it's already linked to Bruce Wayne down at the bottom here, so that's really nice. We're not going to go through filling out in the whole activity again. We're going to spare you of that. But just like on the Today page, you have the ability to tap to open up activities for expand them, if you will. You can tap to collapse them. You can swipe left to mark them as complete or to edit them, or you can mark them as complete or edit them from their expanded view as well. So if you're a tapper, great, you can tap and you can make it work. If you're a swiper, great, you can swipe and you can make it work. So we've given you a number of different ways that you can work with those activities. Next, we have the notes section, and this is one of the most important sections in the database, obviously. This is where you can view all client notes and note comments right here inside of the contact record. Very similarly to activities, I can tap a particular note to expand it, to see the note category, to see who added it, and then I can comment on that note as well. Now, if we want to add a note, we could go ahead and do it out. Let's go ahead and let's add a note by hitting the plus sign here. And that's going to open up our ability to add a note. The first thing I want to do is I want to give it the correct category. And I'm going to say this is a charitable donation. And now what's cool is that I can type in the note, or I can use my voice dictation. That's right. So let's demonstrate it for you. Bruce and I just had a great lunch period. He offered a huge donation to the new foundation that we are working with. And I invited him to the nonprofit party next week, period. And I'm done. Now, I just made that up on the go. I have no idea if that's a realistic scenario or not. But remember, when you are dictating through your phone, if you're using Siri or you're using the Android dictation tool, whose name I don't know because I don't have an Android, remember, it's very slow. It requires you to speak punctuation. If you don't speak slowly and speak punctuation, your notes may look like chaos. And so that's why I don't necessarily consider this a replacement for some of the more powerful dictation tools out there, but it is certainly a decent shortcut. I mean, obviously you saw, if I had to go add a note, then I would have to go into Bruce Wayne's record. I have to go to add a note section, and I can save that note. But that note now is locked in to the contact record. That's viewable in our database. That's viewable wherever we want. And we can expand that, and we can add a comment as well. Make sure to add a +1 for him. I'll just type that out. And now I can add that as a comment. I can do all of this right here on the app, and I think that that's really cool. I love the idea that I can add comments, add notes, take a look at these things all right within the app. So these can also be added by dictation. Those note comments can be added by dictation if you want. If you want to expand a note, all you got to do is tap on it. If you want to collapse the note, all you got to do is, again, tap on the date and time, and that will collapse the note. You also notice that it shows you any notes that have comments on them. It lets us know who added that comment. It lets us know when they added that comment. Then I can go ahead and collapse that. Next, we have the important information. This can be edited. You can add important information here. This pulls from the important information section in the Redtail CRM, and you'll notice that the formatting does carry over. So if you bullet point things, if you bold things, whatever have you, you can see that this is right there available to be viewed. And then last but certainly not least, we have the ellipses, the ... and that allows us a little bit more information, access to just a little bit more information. First, we have accounts. Now, right now, accounts, we're only viewing current accounts and account balances, okay? Right now, I do not have the ability to click in any deeper and see the positions of those accounts. It only gives me the values. However, the view of account details will be coming in a future update. So by the time this recording, this recording may be out of date. Hopefully we'll get up a new recording and a new webinar, new overview with each larger update to the app. But as of right now, as of the initial launch of the app, you can only view your account balances, your portfolio balances, and then details will be coming later on. I can also edit my keywords and my tag groups right from the app. And these keywords and tag groups are all the different groups and all the different keywords that we add to a particular contact record. If I want to add them to a tag group, I can go ahead and check them off. If I want to remove them from a tag group, I can go ahead and uncheck them. Maybe I want to remove them from the C2C list. All I got to do is just uncheck that box. Are you sure you want to delete this? Yeah, I'm sure. We're going to go ahead and remove them. That's all it's doing, is it doesn't actually delete those lists or those items. It just removes Bruce or your contact from those items. And if I go back to keywords, again, if I want to remove somebody, I can just tap the X right here as well. Do I want to remove that? Yes. Do I want to select multiple ones to add them on? Yes. I can do whatever I want with my keywords and my tag groups right here on the contact record. So again, you're getting access to a lot of contact information on the mobile app, and you're being able to work with it in a pretty functional way. Obviously, it doesn't have the full power of the desktop CRM, of the web-based browser CRM that you're used to be using, but it's got quite a bit of info in here and quite a bit of actionable intel, as I like to call it, to utilize when we're on the road. Last couple of things I'll mention before we wrap it up here is we do have the ability for you to quickly view some opportunities. Now, this allows you to view, add, and edit opportunities. And much like the Today page, we can swipe to edit, or we can tap to edit. We can tap to expand, give us more information about this particular opportunity, tap to collapse it if I want. We had a good one here. Let's do Bruce's inheritance. There we go. That shows us our projected revenue. That shows us the amount that we're working with. It shows the stages that we're at. This is designed to be quick reference. If we want to move ahead in the opportunity, we can always hit that edit button, and it allows us to make changes to that particular opportunity. Currently, this particular area of the app allows you to do everything with an opportunity except add permissions, add or edit contacts, or work with any linked items. Now, this is something, these are all items that will be added in the future for sure, but I did want to mention that right here. The same goes for when we are adding an opportunity. Again, just like any other page in the app, I can click that plus button, and I can go ahead, or plus icon, if you will, and I can go ahead and fill out the opportunity details as I see fit. My close dates, my stages, who it's assigned to, what amount that we are working with, and the description itself can all be filled out underneath opportunities. The very last thing that I want to mention, the second to last thing I want to mention, is the settings and preferences. This gives you user info. Number one, it gives you your user info. But number two, it gives you a couple of two activity options that I think is really fun. Number one is include completed on the calendar, and number two is include a gap on today. And I'm going to show you what that means. The ability to see completed activities on your calendar page, very straightforward. If I go to my calendar page, you'll notice that the activities that I have marked as complete are grayed out. So that call to schedule review that we marked as completed earlier, I can go ahead and tap that, and it's going to tell me that this activity is a completed activity. It lets me know I'm viewing a completed activity. I don't have the same options that I had with an open activity because this activity is completed. So that is an option. That is one of the settings and preferences that you have. You can choose to turn off completed items, and that just means they're removed from view. It doesn't mean they're gone forever. As you know, every completed activity in Redtail becomes a note, so it is etched into history. This gives you a little bit of a cleaner view on your calendar. If I go back to my calendar now, it looks a little slicker. You know, it's a little cleaned up, not quite as cluttered. The last preference that we have is including a gap on today. Now, I'm going to change my gap threshold to 15 minutes here. And what this does is this will show you how much time you have between activities on your Today page. So you can choose to see that time at a threshold of your choice, meaning that if I were to pick 60 minutes, I will not see gaps less than 60 minutes on the Today page. In my opinion, my favorite one is 15 minutes. And that way, when I go to the Today page, it shows me, okay, I got a 15-minute gap between my lunch and Steve's in-office visit. It shows me I got a 15-minute gap between Steve's office visit and our quarterly checkup. And then it shows me I have a 2.5-hour gap in between quarterly checkup and my team going to the Suns game. So that is what we're talking about with gap threshold. If I were to go back and change that gap threshold just by clicking on my settings and preferences. If I were to change that to 30 minutes, you're going to actually see on the Today page, see how those 15-minute thresholds are gone? That is what you're controlling here. I think it's a cool feature. I think it's a really nice way of letting me know how much free open time I have between my activities. And that's probably one that I would recommend using. I think it's valuable. You might not, and that's okay. But I certainly think it's valuable. The last thing that I want to mention is that this new app was designed to be a starting point in addressing a lot of the pain points from the previous app, and there were plenty of them. But what I love about this app is that it's built on a foundation that will allow more frequent updates, more useful updates, and more user-driven updates based on what you give us. So some of the future updates I mentioned already, but some of them that I know that are in the pipeline include adding workflow tasks to the app, providing account details in a contacts account page, adding push notifications is one of the ones I am most excited about. And so that'll pop up. You'll actually get push notifications for activities that'll pop up on your phone and remind you of things coming up. Now, this is by no means a finished product. As you know, most apps are never finished. Most apps and most technology is always evolving. And if you have items that you'd like to see included in these updates, then we want you to tell us. We want you to tell us using the contact info provided. A lot of people worked very hard on this app. And so if you do go to the App Store, we encourage you to throw us a rating. The old apps were garbage and they got bad ratings, and justifiably so. But I do think that this app addresses a lot of the issues that people were having with that initial app. And so if you like it, show it. I know our developers look directly at these things. They look directly at them for feedback. They look directly at them for updates and kind words. And sometimes it's hard to give kind words to something when all you can see is deficiencies. But again, if you like the app, go throw a rating up there, throw a big glowing review up there. If you don't like it, let us know. And listen, I can't stop you from letting us know on the app page, but we have specific areas for you to submit that feedback so that our dev team gets it directly and then begins to update it in our pushes, in our updates and things like that. Case in point, this app is already on, even though it's been out at the time of this recording, less than a week. It's already on its 3.4 version. It's already been updated, and it's constantly being updated with that user feedback. So we really appreciate you taking the time to actually go in, provide that feedback, let us know what you want to see. And if it's possible, we'll certainly try our hardest to get included in there. But that is going to do it for the Redtail app. Again, I really appreciate everybody's time dealing with me, watching the video, and using the new Redtail app. Hopefully, it's going to make your mobile life a lot easier to live. Thanks so much for joining us today for this particular session. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give us a call at 800-206-5030, option 3 for support, or just shoot us an email over to support@redtailtechnology.com. Thanks a lot and have a great day.